Hey everybody, George Tucker here for AVNation at ISE2016. I am in the Haraman booth and happily joined by Sean Robinson. He is from AMX by Haraman. How are you, sir?
I'm doing absolutely fantastic, George.
Yeah, day two.
Day 3.
Day 3, that's right.
That's right, time flies when you're having fun.
It's true, it's true. So, here we are, and one of the things you were discussing with me was you recently acquired SVSI.
Right.
And one of the fruits of that is this 4K over 1 gig system that you guys have now.
Right, exactly.
It's brand new. So tell me a little bit about that and what the advantages are for it.
Sure. Well, as you know, as we're transitioning and our customer has transitioned into the IT world, we're talking much more to IT.
Right.
And our focus from an AMX and Haraman perspective is developing technologies that are more IT friendly, where they can manage their own infrastructure that they've already invested in, which is the data network, right? And so, taking 4K video, as we all know, that's a lot of bandwidth. What SVSI's done with their N2000 product line is pretty amazing technology. They're able to get visually lossless 4K video over 1 gigabit network, which means you can now share it with a data network in the 400 to 600 meg range, plenty of room for data, and now you can distribute 4K in a very flexible fashion using the standard cables that's in the wall. So you don't need shielded Cat6 and special terminations. You can use standard-based network, and it's all IEEE standard space, very IT friendly. It just seems to resonate a lot with the IT community.
So how much gear am I talking about being able to do this? So I got my sources, of course, and my sinks, but what am I putting in between from you guys?
Well, so actually what you're putting in between is Cisco or Juniper or Hewlett-Packard. That's now the switch, right? What's really great is you can grow this very flexibly. You don't have to start off with a big investment in a chassis. You basically start off with, hey, I'm adding a source, great, add a little box. Oh, I'm adding a display, great, add a little box. And you can distribute it as however you want. You can do 1 to 1,000 or 4 to 12,000 or however you want to stretch it across a network, right? So the matrix becomes infinitely flexible.
And the tools to do that, they're sort of IT-centric?
Very IT-centric, so there's web APIs on the product. Of course, we're going to be putting netlinks, of course, into the SVSI boxes, so if you want to deploy them as part of an AMX system, you could do so with netlinks commands, but they have web APIs also, and so if you want to control it any other way, integrate with an IT system, you can do that also.
Cool.
So, and what's really great about the decoders is they have built-in scaling, so you can do things what we're showing here is a video wall. We can run 4K across multiple 1080p displays, or you can very easily switch multiple videos in and bring it into different displays without any window processing whatsoever. Yeah.
Sean, we're now going to be looking at digital media switching.
Right.
You have the DGX.
Right.
And there's some upgrades to the new models, right?
Absolutely,
so
yes.
Tell us all about that.
Sure. In December, we started shipping the DGX 100 series. And it's the DGX. We're taking a lot of feedback from our customers on features they'd like to see. Simplified commissioning, a single IP address. We auto-bind all the endpoints behind it. We have an integrated web interface, web configuration interface, which allows extremely simple setup, extremely simple diagnostic information, full audio breakaway all the way up through our 64x64 with audio DSP, 10-band parametric in there, which again is all configurable from the web interface. And it's our 4K platform. So it is basically allows us to do 4K through the Innova DGX. Systems in the field that are out there can be upgraded to a DGX 100 through a CPU upgrade. So again, we built the product very modular. So people can
a single card change?
Yes,
or?
Single card change. Basically a CPU card comes in, new brains. It brings NetLinks native completely to the core, and it makes a lot of synergies with the Innova DVX as a result. And then what we're showing here is 4K video. So we're running 4K through the Innova DGX. We have 4K transmitters, 4K receivers, and then 4K HD-based cards, basically DX Link. We're now routing 4K video through. And of course, just like in the previous model of the DGX, it has integrated scaling, so you can upscale and downscale. You have 4K video coming in, send it to the 4K displays, downscale to 1080p for the 1080p displays.
Very interesting. So you've got easy commission, simple swap out, comes with all the stuff. And again, IP-centric?
IP-centric, right, yes. I mean, that's the other thing is like, for doing control on all those endpoints require an IP address. We wanted to shield that. We all know how complicating it is to get IP addresses from the IT department. Single IP address, and we manage everything behind that, including if you want to plug in other IP devices, AV IP devices that the IT department might not want on the data network. We have all that integrated security platform on the NX controller that's built in. So we have advanced security for the data port, but we can manage all the AV devices that might not have advanced security, keep those completely isolated from the data network, which is very compelling from an IT perspective.
So you have something like a NAT built into it.
Well, yeah, it's actually more like a dual NIC. So there's a complete wall. There's nothing that can go back and forth. We put like an embedded NAT or router. That's also a no-no from an IT perspective.
Right, even more secure, not having to worry
even more
about
secure.
it.
It's literally think of it as a dual NIC where it's completely shielded from the data network.
Yeah. Well, cool. So, Sean, we were talking about with the SVSI system, getting to 4K over 1 gig.
Right.
Of course, the natural question to that is, you're compressing it.
Right.
That doesn't really look that good, right? I mean, there's going to be some doubters out there.
Yes,
you have here a demo that shows the quality difference and how that's working.
I just want to point out how great the compression algorithms are getting. And so SVSI has done some amazing work here. So what we're demonstrating here in this location of the booth is showing 4K over 1 gig IP-based video compared to native 4K plugging directly into the display. And literally asking people if they can tell which one is which, and nobody can. And when we talk about visually lossless, that's the key, is that the way they're doing the encoding and the compression, they're doing it in a way that minimizes any impact to the video, and therefore being able to distribute absolutely fantastic video over a 1 gig data network. So it's the best of both worlds. It's using IT-based technology and getting great video as a result.
All right, so show us what we have here. We have 2 monitors set up. 2
monitors set up. One is plugged in directly to a 4K media player. The other one is a 4K media player, exact same 4K media player, D8 off and running through an SVSI encoder. And you can actually see both of these, the video coming from both, and it's practically indistinguishable as far as which one is which. And so again, we understand that in the purest world that we live in from an audio-visual perspective, we're about great quality, and so because of that, anytime somebody hears the word, running it over IP and packetizing it, people just get a perception of lower quality. And we've demonstrating this here so we could show people that it's actually delivering great video over 1 gig.
Yeah, so those concerns have been addressed.
Absolutely, absolutely. And again, it's going to continue because the compression technologies and the parts, the semiconductor parts we're putting them on, continue to improve in performance. And so it's just going to get better and better as we go into 8K and things like that. Right?
And as you mentioned previously, that it's over standard Cat 5. We're going over the
Standard
same
Cat 5
data
cable,
network, so
no special shielded cables.
In addition to that, is showing that there's some decent quality there.
Exactly,
cool.
Exactly.
Sean, scheduling of huddle rooms is a big thing, right? There's a plethora of solutions from people, but none of them are really integrated or sort of standardized with everybody else.
Right.
But you guys have been doing this for a while, and now you have something called Roombook, right? Which connects to some standard calendaring systems and has some really neat features. Tell me about this a little bit.
Sure. Don't tell the rest of my product managers because I don't want them to get jealous of each other, but this one actually is my favorite new product. It's called AMX Roombook, and the reason is because it solves a real problem for our corporate customers and government customers for space utilization. As you know, these are becoming very popular outside of huddle spaces. One of the challenges we've had is in a huddle space, sometimes you don't need a ton of technology. And to start with an AMX system to do scheduling before, if you're doing AMX control, that's great. You have RMS, you have an AMX controller, add scheduling in, no problem. But what if you don't? What if you just want a scheduling system? Adding in a controller, adding in RMS, just do scheduling is a lot of friction for that user. So we used our Madero S, which is a great industrial design, very cost effective, great mounting options, including glass mount options, and incorporated a scheduling app on it. So we'll talk to Google Calendar, Microsoft Exchange, or Microsoft Outlook, and you configure it on the panel itself, and you're good to go.
So a lot of these solutions sometimes are very independent of each other. You guys, as we were discussing earlier, have a way of saying these can sort of self-route when there's a conflict.
Exactly. So what we can do is we can group the panels. Let's say you're on a wing of a building. You group those panels together. When a user walks up, they need to find a meeting room. They've got people with them to book an ad hoc meeting. This room's booked. They can actually hit the browse rooms. It will show them the available rooms in their wing. They can select that room, book it right from that panel, and by the time they get there, it's already booked for them, and it's already reflecting that on their calendaring system so nobody else can overbook them.
Very nice.
We're just really focused on a great, super intuitive user experience, making sure that people can get into their room as quickly as possible.
We are in the Haraman booth, and I am joined by our good friend Bradford Ben. We're going to talk about Martin by Haraman. So, Bradford, as you and I have discussed numerous times, lighting is a really big part now of integration, right?
Yes.
And part of that, of course, is architectural lighting.
Yes.
And Martin has a great line of architectural stuff.
Yes.
So what we're showing here at the show this year is some building washes.
Yes.
Right, and some of the programming. So tell me a little bit about these guys.
Okay, so these were released at LDI last year, and they're now available shipping. We have an exterior wash 100, 200, and 300 series.
Yep.
Various brightness, basically, by how many LEDs are in there. They're outdoor and weatherproof. I have an IP66 rating, give you color temperatures from 0 to 6500 K. All 4 LEDs are individually addressable, so you can do all your color matching using the various console, whether it be an M2Go or an AMX DMX controller. We can control it various ways. We also have diffusion media, so we can actually adjust what the image looks like and how wide of a coverage pattern it has. You actually order different coverage patterns as you need them. So we've decided here to show 7.5s. You can also go much wider and much more narrow. They're sealed, so you should never need to change anything. Standard DMX even have a touch panel on the back, a display on the back, so you can look at the DMX channels in real time and be able to adjust them.
And you did say that they're fully programmable, they can stand alone.
Standalone,
Right.
you can program them and then remove it, and as soon as you assign power, they'll turn back on the same way.
Right.
Or you can keep them into a little program, such as running a sequence on an MPC or an M2Go console, and then actually have it trigger so that, at 8 o'clock, the entire building turns red, at 9 o'clock it turns blue, and a slow fade between the two.
Right, and DMX 512 capable.
DMX 512 capable.
All right, now and you also have the sort of building lighting. We're talking about the LED strip.
Yeah, LED strip. We have the exterior linear, which replaces the tri-pix. Very similar, also LED technology, available in multiple lengths, also IP66 compliant. Same idea of being programmable. You're able to basically put highlights on the building and make effects happen on the building. It's not a chase light unless you want to program each and every LED. It's a let's make the entire edge of the building turn red or turn green.
And you were telling me it has a very nice little color temperature range.
Yes, also goes up to 6,500 Kelvin.
Yeah.
So all of them are washed. What's nice is we actually calibrate the LEDs so that our 6,500 Kelvin on the exterior wash is the same 6,500 Kelvin on the exterior linear, which seems like it's a small thing, but when you have a campus full of buildings, you want all of your buildings to look the same, and we're able to do that successfully.
Nice. And where can they find out more about the Martin lighting line?
There, you can go to harmanpro.com, you can find me, or you can go to martin.com.
Very good. This has been AVNation TV at ISE 2016 in the Martin by Haraman.